What's going on, everyone? Eric here. Hope you're all doing good today. In this video, we're going to cover all of the Delonghi Automatic Espresso Machines, Super Automatics, ones that do it for you, ones that pull that shot of espresso and foam that milk, and you don't really do anything. All right, we're going to cover all the ones that are still in production. So there are other models floating around here. You can find some floating around Amazon, but I'm going to work on the ones that are actually being still made by Delonghi right now in 2025, 2026. All right, so let's get started. So if you're watching this video, you're obviously considering a Delonghi, right? You've been looking around at super automatic espresso machines. Maybe you've gone over Philips, maybe you've gone over Delonghi, maybe even looked at higher end brands like Jura or Jura, however you want to pronounce it. Anyway, I think Delonghi is a good spot to be in if you're looking for that mid-range super automatic espresso machine. There are a lot of cheaper ones, and those are really just not even worth looking at, in my opinion. And then there are some really high-end ones, and I mean, let's admit it, they cost a lot of cash, right? Just really quick so you know who I am, I'm Eric. I've worked in the professional coffee field for over 15 years as a barista, as a store manager, as a coffee trainer. Also, I was for a stint an espresso machine salesperson, which meant I had to really know the inside and outside, up and down, front and back of super automatic espresso machines, as well as other home espresso machines. And because I had a relationship with my customers where if anything went wrong, they could contact me, and I would check in with my customers. I would check in with them after a few weeks, after a few months, make sure that everything is going well. And the ones that really seemed to like their machines the most were the Delonghi users. Now that we've said that, let's go into what makes Delonghi a brand worth considering. One thing to know is that Delonghi is one of the easiest to clean brands out there, all right? They have a removable brew unit. You pop it out of the machine, you put it under your sink, you rinse it out, you wipe it down a little bit, and that's it. You gotta do that at least once a week. That's how you take care of your machine. Your actual milk frothing system and stuff like that, you're gonna wipe that down every time. You're gonna wanna rinse out your milk carafe, maybe put it in the dishwasher, but there's not a lot of maintenance to do here. That's one thing that they've got going for them. They're very easy to clean and maintain. Other brands have break-in periods that they say for the first 100 brews, you're not gonna be optimal. Delonghi says they have a 10 drink break-in period. So you toss your first 10 drinks, and then after that, you're gonna have great flavor. Another thing that makes Delonghi really cool is that they come with a 2-year warranty, but if you register your machine, then you get a 3-year warranty. Not a lot of super automatics that are backed for 3 years. One thing about that is you're gonna wanna make sure you buy it from an actual licensed seller. So either from Delonghi directly or the Amazon Delonghi store, things like that, because you do wanna make sure that you can register it to get that extra year of warranty. So what makes all the Delonghis the same? Well, number one, no matter which one you get, be it the most inexpensive to the most expensive, they all have the same brew unit. Yeah, the brew unit is the same in all these machines, so you're getting the same quality of coffee. What changes is the amount of control you have over the brew unit and a couple other things like the actual espresso pump and the milk steaming system, the recipes, the programming, but the actual quality of the coffee is the same across all the units. Another thing they have is a pre-ground bypass. So if you want to have some decaf in the afternoon, you have some pre-ground decaf coffee, they have a little chute, you can put a scoop in there, and then you can make a decaf coffee or something like that, whatever you have for pre-ground coffee if you don't want to grind your beans for whatever reason. All of the machines have the same grinder and 13 grind settings. Grind settings are how you're going to dial in your beans to make them a little bit stronger or a little bit weaker, depending on how the flavor tastes to you. By the way, never adjust your grinder unless it's running, okay? On these Delonghis, you want to start the grinding system and then you want to make your adjustment finer or coarser. If you don't do that, you're going to break it. Almost every model has a 60-ounce reservoir for water. Almost every model has up to a 5.5-inch clearance for your cup. Another thing that all the Delonghis have is adjustable coffee strength. Depending on the model, you have different levels of coffee strength. That's basically going to mean how much coffee they're actually using, how much ground coffee they're using when they're brewing your coffee. Oh, one more thing about all super automatic espresso machines, no matter which one it is, no matter how expensive or how cheap, you always want to preheat everything. You just run a hot water cycle into your cup that you're going to brew into, warm up the machine, warm up your cup, because that's the number one complaint people have about super automatics is it's not hot enough. But if you preheat your machine and you preheat the cup that you're going to be brewing into, it'll significantly change your experience, because a hot cup means that your coffee is going to stay hot longer and you're going to lose less of that heat. Before we get too deep into the weeds, I do have a favor. If you happen to be ready to buy your machine and you're buying it through Amazon, please use an affiliate link down below. They usually are good for about 1 day after you click on it, and that helps support the channel. That's how I make a little bit of money to finance this operation. No pressure, just wanted to ask that favor of you. Let's get back into it. So at this moment, Delonghi has a ton of Magnifica models. Magnifica is their entry-level model, right? One thing to know is there are usually 2 different versions of each of these models. One with a steam wand where you will steam the milk yourself, and one with an automatic steamer where the milk gets steamed and it will go right into your cup. You have to decide which one works for you. because there is about a $50 to $100 difference between those two models. All right, so the Magnifica Start is the most simple machine they have. It has, like I said before, it's got the 13 grind settings. You have the option of either the milk frother version or the automatic milk steaming system. It only has 5 drink recipes. It has that latte macchiato, which is what Delonghi calls their latte. Basically a layered latte. They do a little milk, a little espresso, a little more milk. That's your latte macchiato. Then they have a cappuccino, so a smaller drink. Then they have a regular hot coffee, an espresso, and then hot water. It counts as one of their recipes, just hot water. Okay, so those are the 5 recipes. Very simple machine. That's all it does. There you go. If that's all you need, finish. It's done. You're good. You do have a little bit of control over the brew settings on this unit. You can adjust the water temperature for your actual coffee from 1 of 3 settings. And depending on the type of coffee you're using, darker roasts usually brew better in lower temperatures and lighter roasts usually brew better at higher temperatures. That's basically why they have those 3 temperature adjustments. The milk temperature is not adjustable. The next up is the Magnifica Evo. They also have a frother version and an automatic version for the milk steaming system on this one. This guy right here is one of my favorite entry-level espresso machines. You got a little bit more control and a little bit more drink options on this one. It has a better build quality and a little bit nicer of an interface. We're bumping up to a couple extra drinks. We're having 7 drink options in this one. So you have your espresso, you have your cappuccino, you have your regular coffee, you have your latte macchiato, then you have your hot water, and then you have your My Latte, which is a drink that you can program yourself, your ratio of espresso and your ratio of milk, so you can make your own drink that way and save it into the system. And then also you have an iced coffee option, meaning that you're gonna brew hot coffee over ice, but they're gonna get the ratio right so it comes out to about the strength of an iced coffee. Like I said, this one just has more drink options and a slightly better build quality than the Start. There's the Evo. So the Magnifica Evo next, okay? So what we're doing here is we're adding a better user interface. We're also adding user profiles, meaning that if you save your settings for your drink, your latte, like I like my latte to be brewed at brew strength number 2, and I like my brew temperature to be at level 3, then that's under your user profile. So then you have 3 user profiles. So if you and your roommate have different settings or you and your family have different settings, you all can have things just the way you like them without having to reprogram every time. Next upgrade is that it has a bigger milk carafe. So you have actually a larger milk carafe, 9.5 ounces. We're going to way more recipes. We're going to the 13 recipes. Now, the difference between these recipes and the other ones is that it's actually just adding a double function to a lot of these. So you're going to be able to do double shots in your drinks. So you have, for example, cappuccino, and then you have a ×2 cappuccino. So you have a cappuccino or a cappuccino with a double shot, aka a cappuccino forte. You also have more options for the sizes of your drinks, and you also have more options for the intensity or the coffee strength of your drinks. Instead of having 3 coffee intensities or coffee settings, you have 5. The drinks are Americano, coffee, doppio, which is a double shot, espresso, a long cappuccino, regular cappuccino, cappuccino mix, espresso macchiato, which is a espresso with a little bit of milk on top. Just hot milk, so if you want to make hot chocolates or if you just need some hot milk, you can do that for the kids. And of course, their latte macchiato. Some of those drinks, I don't even know what they are, but you have more options and you can customize a lot of them. One thing you might have noticed I did not mention in the Evo Next is no iced options. So they don't have that iced coffee, brewing hot coffee over ice, the right ratio, or anything like that in their menu. So if you didn't need the iced coffee option, well then good, this one's for you. If you need an iced coffee option, then this one's already out of the running. So the Magnifica Plus, we're going to a even better interface, mostly touchscreen interface, a little bit clearer, a little bit easier to use, and less physical buttons. We're going to actually have an adjustable frother. We're gonna have 3 froth settings, so you can have the milk either flatter or foamier based on how you adjust the dial on the milk frother. So far in all the models I've mentioned, you do not have control over the milk texture. This is the first one where on the actual automatic milk frother, you do have the ability to adjust it. Next, you have 4 profiles. So if you have a lot of coffee drinkers in your home and they all like things their own way, you can adjust the settings for 4 different people. You still get those 5 coffee strengths. You still get those 3 temperature settings for your actual coffee. So yep, you're kind of right up there next to the Evo Next. And those drinks, you get a lot of drinks. In fact, I'm gonna have to read them out loud because I cannot remember them all. Latte macchiato, cappuccino, espresso, flat white, coffee, Americano, long, which I guess is just a long shot of espresso. I don't know. Iced coffee, iced Americano, cappuccino mix, still not really sure what that is. Cappuccino plus, which is a cappuccino with an extra shot. Cafe latte, oh, a real latte. A cortado, espresso macchiato, and a doppio, aka double shot. Espresso ×2, hot milk, or just hot water. 18 options. And you can save your settings on all those based on the user profiles. There you go. Phew, we're finally outside of the Magnifica territory and we're on to move to the standalone models. Okay, so here is the newest model from Delonghi. This guy right here is very, very cool and has really made a stir. The Rivelia, or Rivelia, I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna say it like that, Rivelia. One thing to know right off the bat is that you can buy a upgrade kit on this thing to make it an ice drink maker. You can buy a cold foam system for it separately, a cold foaming unit to make cold foam if you're really into those ice drinks with cold foam. That upgrade unit costs retails for $130, so just keep that in mind. It's not free. I think the biggest thing about the Rivelia is that really makes it stand out is that it has interchangeable hoppers, and it comes with 2 hoppers. So let's say you have a dark roast lover and a medium roast lover in your house. You each can have your own hopper. Sure, there's gonna be some beans left over in there when you remove the hopper, and you might either choose to use those or grind them through, but it is cool that you can interchange hoppers from regular to decaf or whatever you want to do. You got 2 hoppers, very, very cool system. This one also has adjustable foam settings. You have those 3 foam settings. On the actual unit, you have to adjust them manually. It has something called Bean Adapt because you have those different hoppers. In fact, you can even buy more hoppers if you wanted to, but that way it's going to use some kind of its intelligent system to adapt to the beans that you have in there. It also has a couple other weird AI features like, recommending drinks to you at different kinds of times of the day. I don't know. But anyway, we've got those 18 drinks, so we have a number of drinks there. That's with the hot drink menu without adding the cold drinks to it so far. You also have your removable bean hoppers. You've got your 4 user profiles. You've got your 3 adjustable settings for the milk frother. Another thing with the Rivelia is it has adjustable milk temperatures, which most of the machines don't have. And if you buy, like I said, if you buy that cold foam adapter, you get 6 additional recipes for iced lattes and things like that. Standard as it is, you do have iced coffee options, things like that, just like, black iced drinks. So that's cool. All in all, I think this is a very, very cool machine that gives you a good amount of variety, gives you a good amount of control of the settings, gives you a number of user profiles, looks really nice compared to your usual super automatic machine, different hoppers. So I feel like this is a really, really advanced machine that's really, really cool. If this is the kind of thing that you're going for. This is kind of the entry to the premium line, so it has an upgraded espresso pump as well. So it's going to a stronger pump that should be a little bit more adaptable, more optimized for brewing your espresso. Another thing to know is that this guy, even though it is a more premium machine, has a smaller water reservoir and can hold less spent pucks. So you have to clean out the used espresso pucks more often than all the Magnifica ones I've mentioned so far. Okay, we're on to the Dinamica Plus. Now they've gotten rid of the Dinamicas, they just have the Plus now. It's a very, very cool machine that I usually like to recommend to people who love hot drinks and who want a more premium espresso machine. You've got the original pump in here, but you have 24 drink options, so a ton of drink options here. You've got that adjustable froth. You also have 4 user profiles. You have those 5 levels of intensity for your coffee strength. You have your adjustable coffee temperature, which they all have. You have something that's a little bit different than all the other ones. You have a pot function, which means that you can actually brew a pot of coffee. Basically, they're brewing the regular coffee back to back to back, and you do need a smaller, shorter pot, but you can basically brew a half pot of coffee. Though I will say the quality is a little iffy when you get to the actual regular coffee style drink. And that's kind of true among all super automatics. Most people find if you're drinking this coffee as coffee rather than espresso or a milk-based drink, it's just kind of lackluster. Of course, you can play with the settings on that. You can play with your grind, you can play with your intensity, but I just want to give you a heads up on that. You have a pretty nice interface here, a nice touch screen. You've got a few ice drink options in here for iced coffee, iced Americano, etc. You have a ton of milk-based options. Like all in all, this is just for someone who never wants to get bored and wants to try something different every day. It's a very, very good machine. This is a machine that everyone that I know who has gotten one has been really, really happy with it. All right, so finally we're getting into their premium, biggest model, the Eletta Explore. Eletta Explore is really for somebody who wants everything. It comes with the cold foam canister, it comes with the hot foam canister. So you can have hot or cold drinks. In fact, their drink library is 50 drinks, so a ton. I don't even think you could even drink all those. I don't even know what you're gonna do. So you got a ton of drink options. You don't have switchable hoppers like the Rivelia. That's the only one that has that. So there is if that's important to you, you already know to go with the Rivelia. You have that upgraded pump to that 19 bar pump. You've got an app on this one, though I've also heard that the app is kind of iffy. This is the only model that does cold brew or room temperature brew. Basically, the other ones make iced coffee, which brew hot coffee over ice to the right ratio to give you an iced coffee consistency. This guy here will take about a few minutes and give you a cold brew, something that's never been actually heated. This is a model that has adjustable milk temperatures as well, which is good because some people like their milk good and hot. This is also the only machine that has a bigger cup clearance. This one will go up to 6.7 inches of cup clearance, so you can make a bigger drink. In fact, this guy has to-go size drinks, which means that they're going to give you a bigger drink option, something most of the options in all of the models giving you around a 6 to 8 ounce drink. These guys are going to give you more like can give you up to like a 10 ounce drink, which is what a lot of us are more used to. It also comes with a travel container to fit those travel drinks in. It has that pot function as well, but like I said, pot function is so-so. But I'd say maybe add a couple shots of espresso to it if it's too weak to you. I don't know. Eletta Explore, you also have those 4 user profiles that you've had so far with the Rivelia, the Dinamica Plus, and now this one. So all in all, basically you need to ask yourself, do you want ice drinks with cold foam? Do you want cold brew, or are you mostly a hot drink person? If you don't need the cold brew and the cold drinks thing, then you don't even need this machine. Go for the Dinamica Plus or the Rivelia, or if you want a simpler machine, maybe one of the Magnifica models. But this guy right here will give you a huge library of drinks, so much to experiment with. I mean, from anything from cappuccino to iced coffee to cold brew to iced cappuccino to cortado to whatever. So this is just basically the premium Delonghi, and you've got a lot of options here. So there you go. Those are the differences between all these machines. You're going basically from simpler to more and more options, more and more control, more and more complex, larger drink menus, more user profiles, but the quality of the actual espresso isn't going to change much between any of these machines. It's more about how many drink options you want, how much control you want of the parameters. Do you want control of the heat of the milk? Do you want control of the frothy level of the milk? Do you want hot drinks, cold drinks, all this stuff? Delonghi, like I said, super easy to clean brew unit, 3-year warranty, fast break-in period. All in all, I think it's a reliable brand, and they've really proved themselves in the field of super automatics. Thank you so much for watching. Maybe give me a comment, maybe give me a like, and maybe subscribe if this helped you out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.